for the average person when they're first learning about or investigating astrology is the first few questions that they ask the typical astrologer or astrologist. And that is, why does it work? How does it work? And on average, how does the astrologer or astrologist respond? Well, a common response is, I don't know how it works. I just know that it does. Um, in a lot of cases, a vast number of astrologers have a liberal arts, humanities type background. They may have a background in psychology. Nothing wrong with that. Those kinds of backgrounds can come in, to be immeasurably helpful. If they've got a client and they're doing an interpretation, and realistically, if they're interacting with other human beings. But for someone who's a bit more eclectic and, has, at least an, reasonable desire to be rational as well as emotional, at some point these questions are going to come up. And certainly if someone's a bit more skeptical, they're going to want answers to those questions. So then another problem arises in that there are answers, very, very good answers to these kinds of questions, but they're not widely available easily in the public domain. And, what you end up having is kind of a small handful of astrological researchers that have been kind of like gathering these nuggets of information together. And in some cases, they may have a little bit of a science background, or they may have a science background. And they're basically hoarding nuts, And so if you had the occasion to have a conversation with one of these individuals, and if they were able to present the information in a way that was easily digestible to someone that didn't have their background, then it would be probably a really worthwhile conversation. A short while ago, I found myself I'm not a transhumanist, but I was in a transhumanist forum. I just joined it. I was curious to see what would go on there. I have a science background, and I started to raise issues that were of a scientific nature, but they were outside of the common mainstream framework that these folks engaged in. And it drove them absolutely. It didn't matter if I presented facts and case studies and citations, because there was a mindset in place that was skeptical, and it was like a parroted script that just ran through their heads. They flew into a rage. How dare I question anything that's mainstream? So if you're new to this topic, or if you've been